very number one favorite verse in the Bible is that it's more needful for you that I remain in the flesh. So that's what Paul said, and I've applied that to my life. But oh geez, this again. Every time you hear something drop in the church, it's this guy dropping one of his coffee cups. All right. So, but seriously, the verse that really, cuts me to the quick is 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verses 26 and 27. This is where Paul writes, you see your calling, brethren, that not many wise according to the flesh, not many mighty, not many noble are called, but God has chosen the foolish things of the world to put to shame the wise, and God has chosen the weak things of the world to put to shame the things which are mighty, and the base things of the world, and the things which are despised God has chosen, and the things which are not to bring to nothing the things that are, that no flesh should glory in his presence. So go ahead, give that an amen.
I'd say that is the description of Calvary South Austin. Right?
That's it right there. And another favorite of mine is 2 Corinthians 5, where we learn that God the Father made Jesus, who knew no sin, to be sin for us, so that we might become the righteousness of God in Christ Jesus. So both of those, glorifying Jesus in the way that he has basically secured our salvation through his sacrifice is one of my favorite concepts, and that is one of my favorite passages that describes that. And then the realization that I'm just the scraping of the bottom of the barrel. God said, let's see what we can do with this guy, and here I am. So since 2005, I've been here as the most foolish things in this church. You just give it all to me, because it's coming right back. I'm like a boomerang, a bungerang. So we are going to probably rib one another up here while we're here. I mean, we will be talking about, Franco's Just for Men, and how he leaves a little gray right here just to let you know he's not using Just for Men. But
He wants to be a man of no comment.
Oh my gosh. Yep. He would tell you what kind of hair product he uses, but it's confidential. It's like the government won't let him. But and then we'll continue with the jokes all the way around to Reuben. I don't think any of you guys signed up for going first, right? So since I started picking on Reuben first, and knowing that we're probably going to need at least an hour and a half of Reuben.
Yeah.
We're going to go from guys that don't want to talk to guys that do, with Chris stuck in the middle. All right. So Franco, the first question that I have for you guys, if I can remind myself. Oh yeah. What's your name? Give us your name, and tell us about your family, and then also how long you've been here at CSA.
Sure. So my full name is Gianfranco Setsu, but I go by Franco, and I'm married to Cassandra. We've been married for about going on 7 years. Been here at Calvary South Austin since 2005. I know you opened up February. I was here, I think, in September, October. So it's been since then.
Yeah?
So, yeah. Yep.
God won't let you leave.
Yep.
So why don't you share one of your favorite verses?
Yeah, of course. The one that, so many, but the one that has come to mind these past week, and it's just been repetitive verses and just, sermons, and even in worship. It's going to be 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 8. I'll start in verse 8. I got the New Living Translation, but it reads three different times.
You're fired.
3 different times, I begged the Lord to take it away. Each time he said, my grace is all you need. My power works best in weakness. So now I'm glad to boast about my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ can work through me. That's why I take pleasure in my weaknesses and in the insults, hardships, persecutions, and troubles that I suffer for Christ. For when I am weak, then I am strong. And so for me, that was impactful, because I got saved in 2004. I'll keep this brief, but at that moment it was turmoil, but at my weakest point, that's when I felt the closest and the strongest. So, yep, that's my verse.
And then I rib on him so that he can feel closer to God
Yes.
all the time.
Yeah.
So tell us about your ministries.
Already? We're not going to go?
Oh yeah, no, we're gonna go with
Oh, okay.
with you.
Wow. All right. I wasn't ready for that. But so I have the Ushers and Greeter Ministry. So our vision is just simply to, and I hope this is what you all are receiving. As soon as you come in, you're being greeted. You're being greeted not only on the front doors, but in the hallway and the auditorium. So the idea is just that you'll have a welcoming moment. We're also ready to provide information, direction. That's one of the desires that I have. And also, in case there's distractions or disruptions, we're the ones that would, address it. We would be the ones that, because the idea is that when you're worshiping, when Bunjee's up here teaching, the idea is that we want to be, as best we can, distraction-free. Because it gets, I'm sure it can get frustrating if somebody's just, there's excessive, I'll leave it alone. I'll just leave it at that, at blank. So, yeah. So the idea is just to receive you, just greet you, provide some information, some direction, also just be able to, just to handle situations. If something comes up that needs to be addressed, we'll definitely do that. One of the visions that I'm looking forward to and just been grateful for, we've had a couple of people just come up and volunteering some of their experience, some of their background in as far as the medical side. And so we're hoping to have, maybe one of my visions is to have like a team, some sort of medical or response team, just in case something gets a little crazy, we're able to respond to that. So that's something that's just hopefully will line up. So that's one of the ministries. Anything else I missed?
Singles?
Yes, but just with the ushers and greeters. No? Good? All right. Moving to the next ministry I oversee is singles. Singles is just another opportunity for singles, just a place to meet. It's mostly on Fridays, 7 o'clock in the evening. We have worship, we have a teaching, and then we have fellowship. Every week we have a different fellowship. And so my encouragement, just briefly, I really resisted to come to singles. There was something, as a matter of fact, Jeremy was overseeing at the time singles. Yeah, I just didn't want to.
He was really more underseeing it at that time, but go ahead.
Yeah, so I don't know if it was pride or just the idea of going to singles, and it took a while for the Lord to get a hold of me, and it gave me He just encouraged me to humble myself, to get under the teaching of Jeremy, just to be able to receive it, but then also just have the opportunity to to fellowship, to be able to minister to others at the same time. So that would be my encouragement, because a lot of times on Friday nights, we may be at home just on YouTube videos, I don't know, just something that's just possibly meaningless. And I would guarantee you, if you come over on Fridays, just enjoy the worship. The teachings are going to be, we're going through 1 Timothy right now, but we also do topical. I have Larry and Edith that are helping out with some of the teachings, and so we try to make the applications to singles as best we can. But no, I just encourage you, if you're single, instead of just being home,
Or somewhere you shouldn't be.
Yeah. My encouragement would just, come on over. It's an opportunity to fellowship, guys and gals. We just interact, and so that's what I oversee.
And is there any point that you talk about hair care products?
Yeah.
Just wondering.
It's under the heresy. It's the.
That was solid.
That's
right.
it. Yeah.
All right. Very good.
Yeah.
Here we go. You ready?
No.
Nope.
So I have to write things down because one of the times I was up here, I forgot to introduce my wife.
Oh, no.
And Bunjee's like, who's next to you?
So let's talk about what's your name, who's your family, and how long you've been here at CSA.
My name is Juan Sanchez. No, I'm David Leal. My wife is Jennifer Leal. I have 4 kids.
You had to think about it.
Yes, I'm telling you, I forget things. Elijah, he's 6. Ellie's 3. Andrea is 2, and Lorena is 6 months. They're the little ones that just run around. So if you haven't seen them, I don't know how.
They've seen them.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. I've been coming here since 2008, so about 15 years. But yeah.
I remember doing these guys premarital counseling.
Yeah, very uncomfortable.
And he wasn't plugged in at that point in time. Jennifer was.
Yeah.
But yeah, he made it. He made it through.
Yeah, he put me through the ringer.
All right. So what's the verse you want to share with us?
The verse that I like is Colossians 3:23. Work willingly at whatever you do, as though you were working for the Lord rather than for people.
Awesome. Why don't you share a little bit about the ministries you oversee?
So I oversee behind the scenes ministries, maintenance and cleaning. We do everything, basically. We take care of the building, we clean the carpets, we do the things that people don't want to do, clean the toilets. If you need a good pride check, come join the ministry, or at least come see what it's about. We always have a broom ready for everybody. It's a great ministry to get started with. When I actually took over the ministry, it was nothing but ladies. So it was a very big stretch for myself. I had 2 very senior ladies that I oversaw, which I felt very intimidated by, but the Lord used them to grow me, and I was grateful for that. Then he took everyone out of the ministry and let me rebuild the ministry.
He cleaned it out?
Yes.
Okay.
And he rebuilt it, maintenance. So right now we have a group of guys that we clean after service. Before service and after service, we do a big clean after service. So if you're ever able to help out or want to help out or just want to get to know some of the guys, you're welcome to. This is not a men's only ministry. Ladies, hint.
And some of the guys are single, right?
Yes, no. Not a hookup ministry either. But I say that just because women tend to lately steer away from the ministry just because they see a whole bunch of guys. We have, ladies that are interested. The discipleship, I disciple the guys, of course, and then when the ladies come on board, my wife kind of steps in on that point and helps disciple the ladies. As the ministry grows, we would love to raise up a woman leader so she's discipling the other ladies in the ministry.
Very cool. Good. And these guys just keep this building nice and clean and always ready for the church to show up, and
we try to.
It's just a real blessing. And we could just hire a cleaning crew to come and clean the building. There's so many cleaning crews in town that it's easy to hire a crew, but this just gives one more opportunity for people to learn how to serve. This is how I started serving at Calvary Austin. The very first thing I started doing was just cleaning up and moving stuff that needed to be moved and setting up stage and breaking down sound equipment and all that good stuff. And so it's a great way to just start serving the Lord. And the higher up in responsibility that you go, and I don't mean to speak about a hierarchy in the sense of this is more important than that. It's all important. But the more visual or the more in the public that you are, the more accountability there is. And so it's a good way to just kind of get your toes wet in serving the Lord. And of course, it's the ministry that I always direct people to when they show up, and it's their first time here, and they let me know that they're here and ready to teach. And I always go, here's the maintenance ministry. Go push a broom. Because we laugh about it, but it's true. I've seen over the years people just show up and they're ready to teach. It's like, yeah. That's pride, and so we're going to go humble you first, and then we can just see if the Lord has a teaching ministry for you or not. But, like I said, I mean, it's just a great way to just start serving. So if you have yet to start serving, maybe come talk to David. If you're a gal, looking to, just plug in, this is a great way to plug in as well, since it's men heavy right now. And yeah.
I was waiting for the joke.
Yeah. Just going to leave it there.
Okay.
Real quick, it's one of the ministries that you could just serve. You don't have to commit to a long-term situation, right? You could just show up any Wednesday or Sunday. Right?
Yeah, you don't have to. So you can come in and serve and clean and help out and not be part of the ministry. I would recommend to be part of the ministry because we do a lot of other things. There's discipleship behind the scenes. There's we meet do a Zoom call Thursdays where we pray for each other and stuff like that. So it's good to get plugged in. You get accountability. Some of the guys know I kind of dig into your life a little bit if you're a guy, just so I can get to know you and you can get to know us, and so you have accountability that way.
And honestly, I mean, you don't even have to be a Christian to serve in this ministry, because look at Andy, and moving right along.
Off the stage now.
All right. Hey, if anybody has it coming, who? All right.
Should we go with Ruben this way, or you want to do this? What do you want to do? How you feeling?
This is the question of a man who's not ready.
Like David, I don't know. It's just there's a lot of them.
Yeah. No, let's go, Jeremy.
All right, let's do it.
So, what's your name? Who's your family? How long you been the thorn in my side?
So my name is Jeremy Valencia. My wife is Renee Valencia. My daughter is Bella Valencia. Bella's 10. She's adopted. She's super tall. She looks like her mom, but she's super tall. So
She's 10 going on 20.
yeah, if you guys would feel like, my goodness, where those genes come from, not us. But what's it called?
I was actually stopped by their house the other day and didn't realize that they were pulling up the street. And I was just parked by me and Brenda had pulled over to look at something on the security camera of our house.
Down because some vehicle looks suspicious. I'm like, what's going on here? Just pulled over quickly, and then I was like, well, let me slow down.
Who's this guy that's never washed his truck ever? Just trying to save the planet, guys. So, so we're pulled over looking at the security camera, on dealing with some home stuff, and it's down the street from his house, and he slowly pulls up, and then I look over, and he's got his hat on. I don't recognize him. And then I realized that, it's Jeremy, and there's Bella in the...
She called shotguns, and she got
in the passenger seat. So I'm talking with him and telling him what we're doing, and next thing you know, the back window goes down of the minivan. Back window goes down, and there's Renee. Gang signs, East Austin. And then I realized that they're actually filming a documentary called Driving Miss Renee. So, all right, all that for that.
Yes. So I've been your thorn in your side since, I think, 2001 at Calvary Austin. And so when Bunjee came...
Right after Y2K.
Yeah. What's it called? When you came down in 2005, I came with Bunjee. About 40 people came with Bunjee. So, and I remember when Bunjee was telling me on a road trip one time before that he was called to be a pastor. I was like, what? Why do you want to go do that? I was trying to talk him out of it. I was just, no, man, because he was on the radio as a Bible answer man at the time. I was like, there's tons of pastors. Just be a Bible answer man. And then I loved where we were at. So I said, well, when you go, see you later, buddy. And then within a few years, I was like, well, I'm going down south with him, man. So
I went south years ago.
Yeah.
All right.
So since 2005, I've been here.
Nice.
Yep.
So what's your favorite verse?
I have lots of favorite verses, and the one now isn't the most encouraging. It's the pluck your eye out verse. So I said, you know what? I'm going to give you my lifelong favorite, which has been Philippians 1:21. For me to live is Christ, to die is gain. So it's short, sweet, like me. And it's been like the lifelong verse for me.
Nice.
It keeps it simple.
All right, why don't you, you got about 2 minutes.
No. Okay, so I'm the deacon that oversees these. There's many ministries. So I oversee the men's ministry. I'm actually the leader right now of the men's ministry. In men's ministry, we meet every three, the third Saturday of the month, and we have an MPG group that are prayer groups that meet throughout the week. And we also do the men's retreat, and we do the family camp out in March. And what else?
Well, we make you wear platform shoes so
So that
that
I can be a taller men's
so that the
ministry.
guys don't always look down on you.
There you go. Let's see, what else we got? One Step to Freedom. This is a drug and alcohol recovery ministry. It meets on Friday nights.
And you're doing good.
Yeah, thank you. It's open to the public. It is not just for the church. Okay, so this is a ministry that, sorry, getting text. This is a ministry that is for drug and alcohol recovery. We're certified with the Travis County, so we can sign parole paperwork if needed. And soon we're going to be doing an outreach for this ministry. So if you're interested in helping out, we're looking for people who have admin skills, who you don't have to have a background in drug and alcohol to be a part of this ministry, but it does help. And so it's a discipleship ministry that helps people to get healthy and then make it back into the church flock. So it's not somewhere you're going to stay forever unless you're going to serve in that ministry. So that's part of that. If you're interested in that ministry, you can hit up Clark or Chelsea, and they're hang out. Clark is out in the auditorium right now, and he's doing ushering duties.
We call it the hallway.
The hallway. Let's see what else. I oversee the Rebound Prison Ministry, which is the letter writing campaign to pen pal for prisoners, and we also do we go into the prison to minister to juvenile detention kids. And so that's an outreach that we do. We go 2 by 2, and the men minister to men or boys in this scenario here. Women go in and they minister to the girls in the dorm. We have a vision to go into actual adult prisons as well. And what's good about this right now is we are just now re-entering into the juvenile detention center since closing down for COVID. So we're regrouping, we're getting certified, and so if you're interested in doing outreach to, troubled kids, come see me or Lowell afterwards. Lowell's that guy right there. We have to get certified for this ministry with the city, or the county or something like that. So it takes a long process to get involved with it. And same thing with the prison ministry pen pal. You have to be serving at the church for about a year before we let you join in this ministry, because there's a lot of certification, but there's also a lot of legality, if you will. So you're dealing with criminals, and even like I said, with juvenile detention as young as 9 years old, 10 years old. And so, this is one of those, like Bunjee was talking about, the higher up you go, there's more accountability, and this is one of those ministries. So if you're interested, one, just pray for the ministry in general, but then two, meet with us and we can talk about a plan to get you up to speed to be a part of this ministry. So you have to be serving in other ministries for about a year before you can join this ministry. Let's see. And the pen pal as well. The pen pal ministry, there's a lot of safety and security we do on our end to make sure that, as you're dealing with criminals, you're not getting scammed by anybody. But the heart of that ministry is basically discipleship. So you are riding and leading somebody who doesn't have a home church, in prison, and you're helping them grow. And so you correspond. And again, this is one of those ministries where we have some training so that you're up to speed on how to minister. And this ministry, the Rebound Prison Ministry, isn't necessarily your main ministry at this point in time, because you can do this, from home, or you show up, like I said, to go into the prison with us. But soon, we'd like it to where we have more discipleship for this ministry, and that we'll be going into prisons. There's tons of prisoners, obviously, and there's many prisons here in Texas that we're reaching out to all the time. So all that to say is that there's a lot of opportunity for people who are up to speed with what we need you guys to do. Sad to say, there's lots of opportunity in that section there. The next ministry is the hospitality ministry. That is heavily based. That's a women's ministry in this section here. We serve coffee for all the services. They oversee the Calvary community potlucks, the care calendar. So if you're out of commission due to a surgery or a death in the family or a newborn baby, the church gets together and they provide meals for you. We facilitate the delivery of the food and all that kind of stuff. Let's see what else we got in this. Also with this ministry, it has it's heavily involved in the events. So like the Happily Ever After Marriage Conference, hospitality team is recruiting a lot of people to serve in that, but they help out with Happily Ever After. They help out with the Thanksgiving potluck, the marriage conference. Sorry, repeating that. Fall Fiesta, I believe. And there's opportunities to serve in any service that we have. We're looking for hospitable people, people with the gift of helps, administration. If you're interested in that, you can see me or Miriam.
And on a weekly basis, they're getting the coffee ready, right?
Yep. Weekly, yeah.
Hallelujah.
So the next ministry is the worship ministry, and this is the musicians that you see on stage. It's the soundboard team in the back. Obviously, we help lead people into worship before and after the Bible studies. It's our vision to have a full band up here. If you were here for Christmas Eve, you saw what the vision is to have a full band. And not just one band, multiple bands. So there should be 2 Sunday service bands, so they're alternating. 2 Wednesday service bands.
Or maybe one band and then another band on their shoulders riding piggyback.
Sure. Have you seen the church down the road? Yeah, the Spanish church has
moving right along.
Something like that.
Hallelujah.
And then even outreach bands. We've done that in the past where we've had outreach bands so that they could, we'll do an outreach, and Bunjee has put together a couple of bands, and life metal, is that what you would call it?
Sure.
Sure. It sounds like death metal, but he's just yelling in Greek.
We called it threshing sledge.
Okay.
Well, you don't like Isaiah?
No. I love it.
Yeah.
And so that's the vision, to have multiple bands and then even outreach bands.
Don't forget the Huguenots.
That's right. And there used to be a CD of the Huguenots in the bookstore. Is that out? Is that gone?
I don't know.
We burned it.
I remember the last show we did. It was like 2005 or 6. And I asked Brenda, I said, should I do the Mohawk? She goes, you might want to. It's probably the last time you'll be able to. And that was true.
It was, yeah.
True. Well, I can do one now, but it's going to have to be sideways.
Do it.
Okay. Okay, so who are we looking for in this ministry is basically musicians, obviously, right? And we're looking for, so just so you guys know, the vision is that the church is singing worship songs, right? The congregation is the choir, so we don't have usually somebody up here who's just a vocalist, right? Because everybody's supposed to be worshiping. So if you're wanting to be on the worship team, it's somebody who's going to be playing some sort of instrument, and if you're the lead vocalist, then you're going to sing as well. Other than that, you're just a musician, and but this is one of those ministries as well that Bunjee had said is more accountability. So we have you serving in the soundboard for a year before you're able to come up on stage. There's a year of discipleship. There's a year of us, you serving the worship team and learning what worship is. And so if you're interested in being on the team, we would start you off with the board. And what that also does is it'll free up some of the musicians that are currently on the board to be on the stage so we can get to that full band sooner. And it's my hope that by the end of the year, we actually have at least one worship team. Let's see.
A full band, right?
Yeah, full band with, drums, bass.
And then the piggyback vision later.
That'll come.
We're working towards it.
What do you think about bagpipes?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes. And then, if you're interested in that ministry, see me or Tiffany. Tiffany led worship today. And then finally, I think, media ministry. This is I'm on staff here as the church secretary and media guy. And so this is where I spend some of my time, but it's several ministries in one. It's the graphics ministry, the PowerPoint ministry, the radio ministry, the video and TV ministry, the website, the social media ministry. Graphics, we design the shirts, we design the verses, the slideshow stuff. And so if you're a person who would serve in this ministry has an artistic eye, and they're teachable. And this is one of those ministries where you have to set your pride aside, because a lot of times artists are more interested in creating art. And here, this situation is that you're creating art, but you're also creating it for the church. And so your pride has to set aside on just creating whatever you want. It's directed here. And so, if you have an artistic eye and you're teachable, join the graphics ministry. We have PowerPoint ministry. It helps lead other people, the PowerPoint ministry helps the worship team lead people into worship. We put the lyrics up, we upload the audio files afterwards, and for that ministry, you have a servant's heart and not afraid of computers. And it's pretty easy, but we need PowerPoint.
How about robots?
Eventually, we'll get there.
What about clowns?
Well, that's right here.
I'm just wondering, can we be afraid of these things or not? What about ChatGPT?
Yes.
What would he say about all of this? Or she?
There you go.
Or they? I don't know.
And then
I'm just wondering.
we've got radio ministry, like I mentioned. We have 3 radio shows. One in Oklahoma City, 5 days a week. One in San Angelo, 7 days a week. And one in Corpus on Sundays. And so somebody has to edit those radio shows, upload those radio shows.
Just so you know, I'm huge in Oklahoma.
Yes, you are.
I'm also huge wherever else I go too. So, come on, guys. It's so easy. All right.
And video TV, like I mentioned, it's the guys in the running the camera session right now. We broadcast on YouTube to over 80 different countries, is what I always tell people. But we also broadcast here locally at Cable Access Channel 11. Somebody has to edit up those videos and upload them, take them to or send them to the studios. In the future, we'd like to do more short films, but Pastor Bunjee does a video every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. The Word videos, somebody edits those, we upload those, we put them on social media.
It's my understanding that all your videos are short videos.
That's right. So in the future, we'd like larger videos. Documentaries. We've done some teaching documentaries, some witnessing documentaries as well. And so in the future, we'd like to do that again. So we need to build up a team. We're having Happily Ever After marriage conference this week, and this is the 2nd year in a row where we haven't had funny videos. And that's something I'd like to get back to by next year. But you need a team to do that. And then we have the website. We have multiple websites. We have the marriage conference website, the radio website, youth camp website, men's retreat website, and so and our church's website. So there's lots of opportunities to serve in the.
What would you ask God?
What?
And the What Would You Ask God website?
No. Well, so Ruben brings up a good point. We have vision to do outreach websites, and whatwouldyoaskgod.com we own, and that would be nice to eventually get that going. But we need a video team to video record. This was Bunjee was going out in the streets, and he would ask people, "Hey, if you could ask God one thing, what would you ask him?" And they would say, "Oh, I'd ask him why he made bananas bindi or whatever," and then Bunjee would say, "Ha ha ha." He, blah blah blah, and then he'd take it to the gospel.
In the voice of Morgan Freeman. Right. I remember that, right?
What was it?
In the voice of Morgan Freeman, you would answer?
Oh, no, I couldn't.
No.
Respect, man. Come on.
Respect. Put some respect on my name.
Morgan Freeman.
I just have this vague
I couldn't do
memory.
it.
Yeah, okay.
I would love to have his voice.
Just
But
watch
then,
Shawshank,
but then,
I guess.
but then what would he do?
He's ready to retire. So.
And so we've got multiple websites, guys. Somebody has to manage those.
There's no easy way to do that.
Yeah, just jumping back in.
do it.
We have many
You would think
websites.
you would think he would have a short attention span,
Oh.
but he doesn't.
And then finally, I think social media, and we have an Instagram, we have a Twitter, we have a Gab, we have a Truth Social, we have a Getter, MeWe.com. All of those social media accounts are just barely doing the bare minimum right now. We would like to make social media more of an outreach eventually, and that's going to take people manning the social media accounts, ministering online like that.
TikTok?
I was about to say,
No,
TikTok
we don't
dances.
have the TikTok.
You
I was
do
told,
this?
don't do the TikTok.
I keep my TikTok private, because just all the dances that I do.
Oh my God.
Well, it's the costumes that are really weird. So, but seriously, if you're worried about Chinese balloons spying on you, you might want to go ahead and delete that TikTok too. But so anyway,
And so that's it for media ministry.
That's it.
So if you're interested in any of that, hit me up or hit Chelsea up. She's in the booth. She oversees.
don't hit Chelsea up.
No. Wait.
Talk to
Talk
Chelsea.
to her.
This guy.
Phrases. And I think that's it. And any of those, really, we're looking for people who, if you're going to be in the graphics ministry, somebody with an artistic eye, like I said, but in all the other ones, just a teachable heart. If you're a teachable heart, we can raise you up in any of the ministries that I've mentioned already.
Good job, man.
I think that's it.
Yep, he clearly does a lot, and yeah.
You got to clap.
And so moving right along to Chris Fort Knox.
Hello.
This thing on.
All right, Chris. What's your name? Who's your family? How long you been here at Calvary South Austin?
My name's Chris Knox. My wife is Glory of the Angels. And we're kind of halfway empty nesters. Our oldest girls are off working, and our youngest is in college still. So we're basically empty nesters. We've been here for 25 years, 20 years, probably, 20 years. We were here before Bunjee was. We were here with the prior pastor. What else? My verse?
Yeah. What's your favorite verse of the night?
Probably Proverbs 23, verse 7a. What a man thinks within himself, so he is.
What are you thinking?
I can't tell you that.
I thought your favorite verse was Proverbs 30, verse 2.
Proverbs 32, verse 1.
Oh, sorry. I got that turned around because Proverbs 30, verse 2 says, "Surely I am more stupid than any man." Look it up.
Well, that would be true. I oversee the bookstore. With the bookstore, nowadays with digital books, a lot of people read digital books. They got Kindles and they read on their tablets and stuff. People who are, kind of old school still like to read books. Go browse the bookstore. One of the really nice things about the bookstore is when you go in there, you know that the books are all pre-approved for the doctrine that they teach and expound upon. Whereas if you were to go to christianbook.com or if you go to one of the Christian bookstores, they sell anything. And unless you have somebody guiding you of who the person is and what they're teaching, you don't really know what you're going to get. And so when you read those type of things, you really have to research to know whether they're on track or not. And if you don't want to spend all that time or you're fairly new to the faith, then you're better served by coming here and buying a book. Now, we do sell the books at full price, but with books, there's not much of a markup. So every dollar that we do make on that goes to serving the Lord. So it just goes right back into buying more books and a wider variety and other things that will end up in the bookstore. Someday, if the Lord blesses us to have a larger area, the bookstore will have even a larger variety of books. But then I would like to see kind of a coffee nook with some tables that people can get and sit there and meet with each other. And they can meet with their accountability partner there. And they know they're not going to be overheard by other people in the public. They don't have to worry about being embarrassed about sharing with their accountability partner because they're here in a private environment where they don't have to be concerned about that type of thing. But we'll just see if the Lord tarries or what the Lord has planned for us for that.
What Christian pun do you have for the name of this coffee nook?
I'm not going to
Hebrews?
Hebrews. No, we didn't go with a pun. We have the Berean coffee bookstore, but we never actually named it because budgetary concerns when it comes to material and creating it, and we didn't know what was going to happen as far as our extension here.
Is that also why you haven't gone back to me on my self-published book being on the shelves?
Well, if you text me, I don't answer texts.
That's
So
right. What's your email?
I don't answer email. I don't answer my phone either. The other ministry I oversee is the finance team, the accounting team. We count the offerings and put it into a database, and I do the reports for the church. And I meet with the board, with Bunjee, and present them with our financials every year. And I talk to them about our outlooks and our budgets, and I get feedback from them for direction and strategy and stuff like that. But if you do have a heart for the bookstore, if you are leaning towards being a person who will be welcoming to those who are coming into the church, we're at the front of the church, so it's really nice to have people there, right there at the table, that every time someone comes in, not only do they see a greeter, but they'll also see a friendly face in the bookstore. And
So someone besides you.
yeah, something like that. So we have Edith that heads up the bookstore, and we have a bunch of a team of friendly people over there that will smile and kind of help them out.
And Edith's really good with the royal wave.
Elbow wrist.
But don't think that you need to know technology or you need to know how to do anything. You'll be trained on any of that. It's not very complicated. We don't do that much.
If you do know about double negatives, help me to understand what he just said.
Okay, I did not mean that.
I think there was a quadruple negative in there, probably. So negative.
So yeah. Okay, I lost track of my mind.
He's the grumpy old man on the crew up here. We all have our own individual spot here, and he's our grumpy old man. And
I'm like 2 years older than you.
And
But you're like 10 times grumpier, though.
you got enough grump for like 3 old men.
Yeah.
But I ran into him at KFC the other day, and I was just like, "What's going on, dude?" He's just kind of just trying to check this off my bucket list, And boo. He was picking off the 12 herbs and spices because it was too spicy for him. Anyway,
Okay.
back to you.
Yeah, I don't got any more. That's it.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah.
Good job, man. I appreciate him so much because the last thing that I want to do when I minister to people here is see a dollar sign above your head, and Chris allows me to do that. I've never once counted an offering here. We have an incredible counting team that Chris oversees, and so King Kong. Huh?
Eat it.
Look at that. So, all right.
Cleaning ministry will get it.
Yeah, David's gonna be like, "Hey, next time you kill a bug, please don't throw it on the carpet." But yeah, so I just, one of the things that, of course I appreciate all these guys and what they do and how God uses them here, but, it really is just freeing to be able to minister to people here, without having any understanding of what you give. Because that's pressure. I even had someone try to manipulate me one time with, well, if you don't do this, then we're going to leave, and we give a lot. And I was just like, oh, you got the wrong pastor here. I am not motivated by what you give here, and I'm not here to, give you more time if you give more, or give you less time if you give less. I just don't want any of that sort of fleshy pressure. And so it's just, I'm appreciative of Chris and the ministry that he oversees, that they deal with all the counting, they deal with all the finances, and then I just get the high level stuff so that I can make decisions on how the money is spent, how we use it for ministry and these sorts of things. But yeah, so I'm able to look at you guys and not have any imagination of what you give or don't give here, but Jesus knows. So. So does Chris. So,
Isn't that the same thing?
Boo. Wow. This guy, is this the heresy that you were talking about? Is that? Yeah. So let's move on down the road to Ruben.
I think we ran out of time already.
You've got 10 minutes.
Okay. Here we go. It's
Here we
my
go.
micro machine man voice. My name's Ruben Urias. I got 3 boys and 1 beautiful wife at home. Well, actually, one of the boys is here. But I got Adan, Samuel, and Mateo, 6, 4, and 16 months. And I've been coming to CSA since late 2008, I believe. And I started off in the media ministry.
Amen.
Right here. And then shortly thereafter, also went to the youth ministry, and I've been stuck there ever since. Don't know how to get out. If anybody has an idea, let me know. But I'm kidding. No, I love it. Yes, I heard a wow. I'm sorry. Let's see. Favorite verse is Proverbs 1:7. That's shortly after I became a Christian. This is one of the verses that really stood out to me, and I got saved while I was in university. So this one really stood out to me. It's the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, and fools despise wisdom and instruction. And I remember just being in a university setting, you're there to learn and just grow and experience a lot of things. And that one really hit home when I first became a Christian at the age of 20. So that's stuck with me ever since. As far as the ministries that I oversee, it is youth ministry, so that encompasses middle school and high school aged kids, as well as the children's ministry, so that encompasses the nursery, all the little babies that you see in the nursery room, and also the preschool age kids, as well as the elementary age kids, so going all the way up to 5th grade. So pretty much, if you got a kid here, I see them, and we're teaching them, and we're discipling them. And this is teaching kids and just bonding with kids is really, it's always been a passion of mine. I remember even just growing up wanting to become a teacher, and also just always having a passion. I remember my earliest jobs right out of high school were working at the YMCA and working with kids that got caught crossing the border, and just counseling them and just spending time with them. So I've always had a passion for teaching kids, bonding with kids, and just helping them grow.
That was in El Paso?
Yes, that was in El Paso, yes, where I was born and raised. So after coming here, I knew I always wanted to be a part of the youth ministry. And so that's I probably started serving there like in 2010, and started off as a helper, became a teacher probably like a year after, I would say. And then I started, I took over the youth ministry, I think like in 2013, 2014, I really can't remember, and just been overseeing it ever since. And so it's always been a passion of mine. As far as vision goes, I've always, my understanding and my vision has always been that the children's ministry as well as the youth ministry should serve as an extension of the teaching and the instruction and the passing down of biblical wisdom and knowledge that should be happening at the home. So parents, of course, have the primary responsibility of raising up their children in the ways of the Lord, in his instruction. But here, as we come together twice a week and we have special events, we serve as an extension of that. So we always put it in the terms of we want to come alongside the parents and help raise their children. I'm reminded of verses like in Deuteronomy 6, where Moses was saying, or the Lord was saying as he's handing out the commandments to the Israelites, basically remind them and teach the little ones, teach the kids, teach the children these things when you lay down, when you rise up, when you're walking by the way. Basically, any opportunity that you get, we should be taking advantage of the opportunity to instruct and teach and pass down biblical knowledge to the children, as well as something that we've been going through in our youth class, the middle school and high school. We're going through Ephesians, the book of Ephesians right now on Sundays, and we recently went through the portion where we talked about spiritual gifts and how that is one of the primary functions of the church, is to exercise the spiritual gifts and to be used by God to edify the body, and there is no age limit on that. So as you become a Christian, whether you're a young one all the way up to the oldest one in here, I can see Chris Knox here, but no matter what your age, Paul told Timothy, don't let anybody despise you because of your youth. And this is something that we constantly emphasize with our youth and our children, is that you can be used by God no matter what age you are. But again, we help them to learn this biblical knowledge and also about the spiritual gifts and everything that falls underneath the umbrella of biblical instruction. We help them learn it at their age level. And yes, even the nursery, you wouldn't, I don't know if you know this, but they share some instruction. They share object illustrations. They share object lessons and help them understand just basic understanding of the Bible, who God is, and they're singing praise songs. So they're just immersing them in that environment in which they can grow up and say, there is a God, and I love him, and Jesus came down and he died for my no-nos, as they would put it in, as the younger age groups, right? Same thing with preschool, as they get to learn how now to read and communicate more. We're elevating then the types of lessons that they have. And they're going through biblical stories and helping them understand the lessons that can be taken out of that. And then as you go to elementary, now they're having more and more discussions surrounding these biblical stories. And then by the time you hit middle school and high school, now we're having full-blown discussions. And also we have more opportunities for fellowship outside of the church hours. One thing that we've just reinstantiated with our youth ministry is having monthly youth hangouts. So we have our time for Bible study on Sundays and Wednesdays, and then on a monthly basis now we're starting to have opportunities for fellowship and just deepening the bonds within the youth ministry, within the youth, because I think it goes without saying, but they are the next generation of disciples. And so being an extension of that family, right? One thing that we always harp on in our youth classes, we tell them there's no such thing as Lone Ranger Christianity. You cannot get through your faith, your walk with the Lord by yourself. And so it's important to come together and be part of the body, as Paul talks about in Romans and 1 Corinthians chapter 12, talks about how the body is made up of many members. And if there's a member of the body that's doing something out here by themselves, they're quickly going to die out. They're quickly going to become useless. And so we always try to emphasize to the youth, you are the next generation of believers that are going to be taking over when we're all, old and gray and dead. So it's up to them to, and when we want to establish that, we want to establish their footing in their faith and help them understand you can't rely on your parents' faith. You have to walk it out on your own. And so this is all happening at so many age levels. And I'm just so grateful to see that, especially having 3 boys of my own in each of the 3 classes, and then me teaching with the youth. I see it on every single level, it happening where the kids, they are learning so much on a weekly basis, and it's encouraging to see how the servants that we have in each of the classrooms, they take time. It is time consuming in the sense of you do have to stay 2 services. Once you serve over there in the classroom, you stay for the next service to come and get fed yourself. But it can be consuming mentally and emotionally as you're dealing with kids of all stripes, all backgrounds and personalities, especially the little ones when things can kind of get out of hand from time to time. But the servants that we have are so faithful and so great with kids. They have a passion to see them just learn more about the Lord. And that's one thing that I'm really appreciative of as I see my boys grow up in these classrooms. And so if I would say, if you're interested in ever serving in youth, I would say there's plenty of, or even children's ministry, there's plenty of opportunities, whether you have a desire to go and just spend time with the little ones in the nursery room, or even have more of a teacher role in the preschool and the elementary, or even middle school and high school. There's opportunities for that. And I would even say there's even opportunities to just help the classroom setting be stable and go smoothly, where there's less commitment, less responsibility, where you can be a helper in these classes. You don't have to chime in with your theological thoughts or anything. You can really just be there to make sure that the classroom is going smoothly. But if you still have a passion for seeing the youth grow or seeing the children grow in our classrooms, that's an easier way to kind of get your foot in the door and just kind of observe and make sure that the classroom goes smoothly. So we have a helper role as well as a teacher role, which I've seen many helpers along the years grow into that teacher role. And also we have discipleship opportunities for that, as I want to help our young teachers become better teachers as they get older, and that way we can continue the cycle of discipleship as we've been handed down from centuries past. So that's our vision for the children's ministry and the youth ministry. So if you ever see one of our servants, they're serving one of these classrooms, they're serving right now, give them a pat on the back, give them an amen and thank you, and I appreciate your work, because they're doing the Lord's work, and you just see it in the kids that are even running around in the auditorium after.
Thank you, Kimosabi. Yeah. So, there's a few more ministries just to acknowledge real quick. Brenda oversees the women's ministry, and then, I provide her with leadership directly, since, she has to live with me. But so, Brenda oversees the women's ministry. Also, we have our daycare. Please keep that in prayer, since Melanie and Brenda are up here Monday through Friday, taking care of that troop of kids. But then also we're hoping to expand to a pre-K soon, and then even beyond up to the grades. So you just keep all that in prayer. We had it lined up, and then things didn't work out the way we were hoping. But it's still part of the vision of this church to provide that kind of education Monday through Friday for kids. But then also we have an outreach ministry that is currently being revamped, and we will roll out that information as soon as possible. But listen, this is our discipleship program. And so while I'm teaching Mondays, I'm teaching Mondays too, but so I'm teaching Sunday mornings, and then I'm teaching Wednesday nights, and that is the teaching aspect of my ministry. But then I'm also pouring into these guys so that they can pour into all these ministries, and it's in the context of all these ministries where we're not only serving the Lord, but there's also discipleship happening. And so if you're interested in being discipled, if you're interested in serving the Lord, I encourage you, memorize these faces, remember their names, and come and talk to them and ask them how you might get plugged in here at this church. Because it is my vision for every Christian to serve the Lord here. And as we serve the Lord, we're growing so that we're not just filled with head knowledge, but that head knowledge makes that trip to the heart and becomes heart knowledge as we learn how to love one another in the midst of this Christian family.